I wanted Joy and I just to, my wife is Joy, our daughter's Annika, she went with too, and we went, a team that went to Tanzania just this year. Cassandra went with, wave your hand Cassandra, she's an artist. She's going to be painting tonight at our church during the event, which is going to be cool. Not tonight, okay, but you can see her painting at our church tonight. And then Stephanie, who was up here, and her husband Joel, we all were a team that went to Tanzania just this year. And can you just share a little bit, Joy, about because it's the seed that got us to where we're at today, as our part.
We're just, like he said, pretty newcomers on this journey. Our story in this realm is only a few months old. So we were welcomed to a trip to Tanzania in January and February of this year, and we knew we were really called to be there, but we weren't exactly sure exactly what we'd be doing or what would be coming from that trip. And as we came home, it became very clear to us that although we had no plans ahead of time, God had big plans for that trip. And it's a wonderful story. It takes more than just these 30 seconds to tell, but we were just really blessed to be alongside a community that was excited about what God was doing to rescue children in Tanzania, and they stepped alongside us financially to be able to buy a property there to house these girls in Tanzania, and the story is just amazing. Yeah, and you know, it's one of those things where we didn't know we didn't know this was the plan, but God knew the plan, and He walked us through every step that we needed to just be able to be used by Him and see this happen. And we're still in the middle of this story. I mean, it's like, you know, it happened so quickly that we don't even know the end of the book yet, but we're so excited to be in this story with these fellow like-minded people who are just, their hearts are not just broken, but their hearts are ready for action to change the situation in this world that we're living in today. So
Part of the thing we did when we were there was a pastors and spouses conference with a church group of pastors in Tanzania. And Stephanie actually shared, and she shared from her heart of her own experience and her own connection with this issue. And afterwards, the pastors and spouses went into a time of prayer. And I don't think I'll ever forget, just after you shared, one of the pastor's wives actually, she just prayed. I mean, from this place right here, if you've been in a place like in a faith community before where prayer is kind of coming from the guts, that's where she prayed from, and she's praying in her own language, but I felt like I knew what she was praying because it was so heartfelt. And out of that time came something in Tanzania called Not in Our Nation, and Not in My Country. And we kind of looked at each other and went, you know, here we are halfway across the world and so moved and so in agreement, felt like Tanzania was our country, we could say it with them. But what about our city? And that's where this came from. We said, Stephanie, can we do this in our town? And she said, well, we've done that up in Sacramento. We've done it here, and here. I said, I want to do that. And so that's kind of where this gathering comes together. And it's normal people. It's just really normal people. If you have watched the news stories of late, yeah, there's law enforcement involved. There's people who know what they're doing, people who have been trained. But the news stories that I'm aware of, you know, are people that don't know what they're doing necessarily. A steward on an airline, or I just heard about an Uber driver who turns out to be an everyday kind of hero. And that's why I think these kind of things are important, because the kind of people that are used in awareness are people like you. The National Hotline for Human Trafficking has great information on their website. And by large, the largest group of informants are in the category called community member. Parents are a big one, not as big as community member. Not even half actually as big as the community member. Law enforcement, others. But the biggest one are community members. People who are flying an airplane go, there's something not right about that. People who are at the bus stop and they go, what is wrong with that? People that have their eyes open, they know what goes on in their neighborhood. There's something fishy about that. And people that say a word. And so that's why we're kind of wanting to invest in awareness, at least to begin with, and certainly collaboration going forward.